Thank you very much. A few ground rules. I speak entirely without a script, totally extemporaneously, which means I welcome interruptions and questions. If I'm saying something that confuses you or you completely disagree with, please interrupt me. I'll answer the question on the spot. I actually prefer it because it helps keep me on point and on task, and I think it's more interesting for everybody involved. With that, I'll try to get started. If I can manage the computer software. Got it. Okay. Today's themes. Number one, we are actually in the midst of a solid recovery, although some people wouldn't believe it. But two, I'll explain what's holding back the recovery. Three, I'll explain the prospects for both the United States and Wisconsin in, I should say, 11 and 12. And if time permits, and I'm giving myself about 30 minutes, which I think is true, if we have enough time, I'll talk business climate and state pension systems, but usually I don't go that fast. So we'll see if I can get there. Believe it or not, the pace of the current recovery is actually stronger than the pace of the last two recoveries by these four measures: real gross domestic product, industrial production, surprisingly, employment, and fourth, retail sales. In terms of, if we compare how our recovery has unwound since we sort of hit the bottom of the recession, and if we were taking notes and carefully paid attention, that was almost 2 years ago at this point, June 2009. In terms of cumulative growth, in terms of real gross domestic product, it's only in sort of the last quarter of which 1991 recovery sort of outpaced the current one, but in all other respects, the first 5 quarters after that, the current recovery was stronger, and it's been stronger throughout than the 2001 recession. Where you see the big difference in this recovery versus the two prior recoveries is in industrial production. Industrial production, since hitting bottom, has grown by more than almost 12% at this point, compared to 6% in 1991 and only 4% in 2001. So on the industrial side, the pace of the recovery is 2 to 3 times faster than the last two recoveries. You'll even see it, surprisingly, in retail sales growth. Retail sales at this point is up 14% compared to hitting bottom. In 2001, it didn't go anywhere. It was basically flat for about 2 years and only took off well into the recovery, and even then it's only up about 7 compared to almost 14. This is the one that most people wouldn't believe. Job growth in this recovery, believe it or not, is actually at this point stronger than in 2001 or in 1991. And it started, surprisingly, from a far weaker standpoint. Compared to the recession, end job losses were 4% in this recovery versus 2 and 1. But by this point, we started turning, so we were growing jobs faster than we did in the two prior recoveries. In part, that's because when you're in a very deep hole, it's a lot easier. It seems like you're going faster when you come out of it. Income growth is also following that same pattern now. Whereas before, income growth significantly lagged sort of the pace of the two prior recoveries. At this point, we've overtaken 2001, and we're closing rapidly on the 1991 pace. And bear in mind, back here, you sort of had an underlying inflation of 3 to 5%, so your real growth, we wanted to measure in terms of the after-inflation effects, is probably stronger here.